Okay, KQBHLP, Los Angeles, California, a community service of Bow Heights Arts Conservatory. Hey everybody, my name is Carmen, and this is another episode of the Tu Novio Late Night Adults Only show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope, I'm getting your night started. Don't forget, you can always tune in to the Tu Novio show live here on KQBHLA 101.5 FM via the app as well as our website. Also, if you were able to tune in last week, we had Jose with us on the show. He was able to call in and we talked about international thoughting. If you've ever wondered, what it's like to date abroad or kind of shoot your shot if you're traveling, definitely listen to that episode. We gave some tips as well as tips to get your passport stamped in more ways than one. As you know, everyone's getting vaccinated. So the world's going to be opening up soon. And if you're thinking of traveling now or next year, 2022, always shoot your shot. It doesn't just have to be here at home. It could be internationally. So tune in to that episode. As always, you can always catch up with the Tu Novio episodes on Spotify. Just search Tu Novio. And also keep up with me and my shenanigans on Instagram at Carmen PR Girl. It's KARMEN PR Girl. But for tonight, I have a very, very special guest that I want to introduce. They go by Linaire Javier, and they are a sexual educator on Instagram. Linaire, welcome to the Tu Novio show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Hello.
Yes, I'm so excited. Another person on the show who is about sex, is not afraid to put themselves out there. And, someone who's also putting sex and education together, because that's something that I'm a huge advocate for. I believe sex and education, are very important. Everyone has sex, even though some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk about it. But it's like, everyone has sex, okay? How are you procreated? How are you here? It's through sex. So yes, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to put yourself out there on social media through sex education and blogging.
I just recently turned 50, and I started actually as, I came out late in life. I came out when I was about to turn 31 years old, came out and lost my virginity at that same time. So, in a few years after, about maybe 3 years after that, I got into porn. And part of my motivation to get into porn was actually education, because at the time, at least, I was going through this naivete that porn, for the typical gay male, porn is their sex education. And it actually, gay porn was part of what inspired me to come out, because what I thought I was seeing was, gay men who were comfortable with their sexuality. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing and in a way pay it forward. Once I got into the industry, I saw it was nothing like that. So once I left the industry, I started to try to still in some way try to continue the sex education. And I just tried to go to a more positive end of the spectrum. And I just started writing. I got my day job at a sex shop. And I just kind of started making contacts with some sex toy companies and lube companies as well. And I just have been taking it from there ever since.
I love, well, one, you do not even look 50. You look like you're a good 30. Like, you do not look
Thank
50
you.
at all. And well, thank you for sharing, that you came out later in life and you kind of like had this reawakening and, this different perspective on life. And you did mention the education part. Would you say, since you did come out later in life, you've kind of had to self-educate yourself, or did you know a little bit more about the male gay community before you had come out?
I knew it from the outside looking in, but oddly enough, actually, part of my interest in education came from because I was actually using sex education books as masturbation material.
Oh,
And
okay.
and I was and in the during in between all that, I was actually reading like all the notes that were like around the pictures and everything. So that's kind of where I started to get knowledge of sexual anatomy and stuff like that. And so it just kind of went from there.
Wow. Well, I love that you had the books. During the time that you had come out, were you also like exploring like internet content or like social media? Were you interested in that? Because you did mention porn, which is super
Yeah.
accessible to anyone. But
Yeah.
were you kind of dabbling in both?
Well, at that time we're talking about like, what was that? Early 2000s. So yeah, so social media wasn't even a thing back then. So yeah, I was just more focused on, you know, buying my videos at the time, and then as online became more accessible, it kind of segued into that.
Right. No, it's kind of cool. I mean, even now, like I've kind of seen like the sex industry evolve, especially during quarantine. Like I feel like it's been honestly, I think like kind of booming since everyone is at home and we have a bit more time.
Mm.
But since you do promote sex education online, what made you start an Instagram presence?
Um, I don't know. I guess at first I didn't understand what Instagram was. I just thought it was people just posting their photos and stuff like that. And when I started to look into it a little more, and at least at the time when I started, that was when you could like show a backside and stuff like that, without necessarily getting censored. I was like, oh, well, this is better. Well, this is better than Facebook at least. You know,
Right.
to be able to get away with that. So and being me, I'm just so forthcoming with my writing because of the fact that I guess I tried to undo the damage. I guess I felt that was kind of done to me by staying in the closet to myself for so long. I'm just very blunt, about my sexuality to try to like inspire someone else to come out. Not necessarily, they don't have to be as blunt as myself, but to at least be true to themselves is what I'm trying to inspire in people.
Right. And I definitely have seen your Instagram. I think there's a like a double standard sometimes because like for hetero women, posts get taken down of us showing like our breasts. Where
Mm.
if a male, like whether they're gay or heterosexual or however they identify, if they take a picture of themselves shirtless, the picture's not going to get taken down. Do you feel there is certain like double standards when it comes to anatomy of certain body parts that get posted?
Well, there always has been, unfortunately. The typical American male, running things has definitely have a problem with any kind of showing of penis, even if it's a imprint within someone's clothing, which is
Mm-hmm.
no big deal. I mean, every cisgendered male has a penis. What's your problem? That's my thought
Right.
anyway. So, but yeah, so that kind of thing immediately gets taken down, and sometimes it's not even that at this point because the Instagram has changed so much with their rules because they're adopting Facebook rules now. So I had a post that was up there for like probably 2 years maybe, showing an Eros prostate massager. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Not me using it. It was just the prostate massager and my bare butt in the picture. It got taken down under this
Wow.
under this new regime all of a sudden.
I know they're like cracking down, and it's crazy because not a lot of people know that. I believe Facebook owns Instagram now.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
when you like log in, it says like Facebook somewhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense why, they're kind of like cracking down on everything. So how would a creator who's super sex positive still wants to be themselves, not censor themselves, you know, because you're trying to be your most authentic self online. How do you kind of go about it to still post, but to make sure your content doesn't get taken down?
I honestly, it's almost like it's sad, but it's almost like you gotta nearly say a prayer with every single thing you put up, you know, because and then you gotta overdo like trying to make sure certain you don't put in certain words in the mix where if you know you put certain words together, they may be like, oh, he's talking about sex. Oh no, and then your post gets tagged. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've been very lucky lately. I don't, so I'm wondering when is that luck gonna run out? Um, but I say for every sex positive person, every sex educator, I'm sure we're all going through that, wondering like we can't say certain words right now, or and sometimes even if we're not saying the more graphic or slang term that everyone would more so easily identify with it, even if we're not
Mm-hmm.
saying that, just saying the proper scientific terminology for a body part sometimes has me concerned. Because I
Right.
feel like I'm wondering if I say the word penis, oh no, are they
Right.
gonna flag me over that? So, and I always wonder about that. So I know we're all feeling it, unfortunately.
Right. And I love your content. Like I definitely, when I was checking out your Instagram, I was like, whoa, he's like really like, okay, I'm just gonna post what I want to post. I was like, I love it. So what kind of content do you usually post? Is it all educational? Is it very about you? Like if someone goes onto your page, what can they expect?
They can expect a little bit of everything. Some parts is about, my personal views within the community, whether it's the being a black man in America, or whether it's being a black man in the LGBTQ community, or just being a sex educator. It varies because I just let my Instagram be about who I am in the various facets of my life and not just be one dimensional. I mean, I know that there's some things I do keep private, but
Mhm.
I do tend to give a lot in the process.
That's good. I feel like it's always a good thing to keep something to mystery, you know? Like you'll
Yeah.
only find out if you pay me, then I will let you know. Subscribe. That's good.
Yeah, like
Um,
my family my family. I may mention like members of my family, but no one can ever say that they've seen a member of my actual family members in any of my social media.
okay. No, that's good. Well, with social media, you know, haters gonna hate. There's always the good and the bad. Because I know, like, for example, for me, I love noticing comments or how many likes, you know, a certain thing gets. Like, I love engaging with people. So let's talk about the good of social media. Um, what kind of comments do you usually receive when they're good? Have people slid in your DMs like, oh, I'm really inspired by what you do? Or maybe they ask you questions like, hey, I'm interested in trying this prostate massager. Where did you get it?
Yeah, I have gotten questions like that, and I get very flattered when it does happen, because it means that that my message is kind of getting out there. The fact that I am a sex educator, and they're, you know, and they are realizing that I do have some knowledge because of what I post. So I definitely welcome questions about certain products, or people asking about parties, sex parties and stuff like that. I always welcome those questions about that. Um, but outside of that, I think I'm pretty. I can say I do. I get any kind of negative? I've gotten some negative, but not a lot. I think sometimes my reputation, especially from my porn days, is kind of segued into this part of my life now. That if you give me crap online, I'm going to come back at you no matter what. So it's like
Right.
they may want to say something, but they know it's better to keep quiet.
It's like, period.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I love the fact that, you know, you kind of, if they dish it, you dish it back.
Yeah.
Very, I love that. But also, I mean, you mentioned that you are a male, a Black male, and then also part of the LGBT community, and you're also a sex educator. You know, there's so many things that make up who you are. Do you
Mhm.
feel that there are a lot of people like you in this space, or do you think it's mostly like white, gay sex educators?
Um, for the LGBTQ community, I think actually sex education in general, it's definitely a white female dominated field. And then when you, it's like when you go further down, I guess the totem pole, I guess you could say, that's when it's strictly gay males. That's when they always, gay media always tends to run to the white or light person of color porn actor,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I feel after my time in porn and still looking at it from the outside, looking in with it inside knowledge, is not the healthiest source of information about gay male sexuality.
Right.
So that's why I'm just trying to maneuver my way into that, and which is why I'm so appreciative of the people, the like companies that have given me some support over time, because the those companies are not actually LGBTQ as their main we call them demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So so the fact that they are able to realize the potential, and what I have to offer, I definitely appreciate that from them.
Do you think some of these companies maybe don't target specifically to the LGBTQ community because they don't think their products will tailor to that community, or is it because of just lack of knowledge?
um that's the thing. The companies I deal with is mainly like at the moment are mainly like Kiru, which does a lot of interactive sex toys, and Satil, which is a lube company. So they are, through their Instagrams, especially, they're Satil has always been very open
Mm-hmm.
to all demographics. Kiru, however, their main product, their main sellers seem to be more targeted towards straight people, but of course they do realize that there is a gay demographic, and I guess that's kind of where my representation comes into the fold.
Oh, so you're kind of like a consultant to some of these businesses.
Yeah, for them, yeah, in that regard, yes.
Perfect. And I mean, you did mention, you know, your time in the porn industry. If someone maybe wanted to get into that industry, do you have any tips for them?
Don't.
Don't.
Yeah, because right now I feel like for me, I feel like after I left, there's no one has an actual clinical term for it. I just called it, named it myself, porn induced PTSD, because the thing is now that after I left the industry, I realized that everyone needs to have ownership of their body and their
Mhm.
personal space. But I feel like after I left the industry, I got even more possessive of my personal space, where I could like go in on an immediate attack if I feel like my personal space is being violated even in the slightest, more
Mhm.
so than normal. And I saw that in myself, and I had to think about, where did this come from? And I realized that was where it came from, because of the way of ownership that porn studios tend to have of your body while you're in the mix.
Right. No, and I feel like that's important, you know, like no boundaries should be crossed. Because at the end of the day, it is a job, right? Like just as, regular 9 to 5 people have certain things that they expect from their employers, so should people in the sex industry. I did want to ask you too, like for your Instagram name, is this your alias, Linaire Javier?
Well, Lanier is my legal first name. Javier is not my legal last name, though.
Oh,
I
okay,
actually,
okay.
yeah, I just took the Spanish pronunciation of my old porn name,
Mhm.
because I do have Latin in my ethnic background. So I just took the Spanish pronunciation of the last name because my old porn name was Trey Xavier.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So since I like the last name, so and I didn't even realize the fact that that was how it was pronounced in Spanish. It just wound up being that some people, you know, would say things about me, and without by just reading my name as Trey
Mhm.
Xavier, that was actually how they pronounced it, Trey Javier.
Ah, okay, okay.
So I was like, so when I decided to be done with porn, I was like, I'm gonna keep that last name, but I'm just gonna switch it around to make it kind of rhyme with my first name.
Right. I know we did talk a little bit about it off camera, but maybe you wanted to share now if you do feel comfortable, because I know you have your social media presence, but then you also do work in a sex positive place. Did you want to share that?
Well, yeah, I do work at a sex shop. By my day job is working at a sex shop. I work at the Pleasure Chest in New York City. Um, Let me see, I've been there for 7 years now. But and over, I'm forgetting how long ago it was. About 2 years ago, we the staff in New York anyway, the staffers unionized.
That's good.
Uh, yeah, it was a hard fight, and I'm still kind of enduring some of the annoyance left over from it now. So
Yeah, as that happens with unionizing, that always
yes.
happens. um, Before we go though, I did want to talk to you about what do you see yourself posting in the coming months? I mean, I know we're coming into summer. A lot of people are gonna go crazy, I feel, once they're vaccinated. Not that sex stopped, during the pandemic, but I feel
Oh
like there's
yeah.
gonna be an increase.
Oh, it's already starting, because I definitely can say that because I've just taken part in virtual sex parties, which is
Virtual
actually
sex parties? You have to
yes.
explain that to me. This is all new. How do I join? I was kidding.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that, because that's probably my next article for Kiru, because I wrote an article for them before about virtual sex party etiquette, and so they wanted an article after that for me to more so do exactly what you just asked, to explain what a virtual sex party is. So basically, sex parties of course, closed down because of the lockdown, and
Right.
so they went virtual. So pretty much what it is a Zoom meeting of you and various participants, basically watching each other either masturbate, or some people will have their significant other there having sex while you masturbate or whatever. So you're not alone. And what I kind of said in the Kiro article was that, there's should be no shame in masturbation, but you probably might feel a little bit of shame because of the situation that you're in. But
Hmm.
it's a subconscious way, like misery loves company.
Right.
So having all those people there masturbating with you kind of may ease that pressure, if you have that kind of pressure.
For these virtual sex parties, do you host them or you're one of the hosts?
No, I've never hosted. I've been approached about possibly hosting, but the issue happened with that particular person's party. Yeah, I'm usually just a participant.
I love that. And anyone's invited, right? Like you don't have to be like a specific group. Like
Um,
anyone can be a part of it.
Some parties may have it that way, but and usually for some there's a fee, some there's the fee is actually maybe a donation to an organization.
Okay.
Yeah, and like one of the ones that I kind of have gone to more often, logged onto more often, they were asking for a fee, but now all they're just asking for is a donation where you could actually log on for free, but they just ask for a donation.
I do have to ask, how do I make sure that, if I'm doing my thing virtually, that no one's recording and gonna send it on to somebody else?
Yeah,
I'm trying to get my money. Like, nobody
yeah,
better be recording me.
yeah, that is no, that is an understandable concern. That's why some people will just have like just their torso in a shot or something, and I totally understand that. Even though the rule is for all these parties that you're not supposed to record unless you have consent from the individual. But
Okay.
of course, there's no way you can really know that for sure.
I'm just gonna have to put like a ski mask on or something, change my real name.
I have seen that. I have seen that, and I don't blame it.
You definitely have to send me the next invitation because I think me and one of my partners, I think they would be down to do that. I'd be down.
Well, all the ones I know tend to be gay ones. So if you know of any parties that you may have logged onto before, you might want to check them out, because that's how I found out about the ones that I log onto. There have been parties that I've attended in the past, and it's like, okay, so when I get the email, because there's no actual party, that's when they were announcing that they were doing that. So who knows?
See, you're doing your sex education part because I had no idea this was happening during the pandemic.
Oh, wow. Then you missed a lot, because it's been going on since maybe some of them have been going on since like the summer of last year.
Wow. Well, what else has been going on that you can educate me on before we go on to the last question?
I don't know, for myself, I I've gotten into my toys a lot more. That's what the pandemic did for me. Because I usually just play with my toys enough to give a review on it, and my masturbation is I'm just pretty much your typical guy where I just go to the hand and that's it. I'm done. Um, but because of this whole lockdown, it's like, okay, the hand's getting tired. The hand's getting boring. I need some diversity in my masturbation now. So I have all these toys that I've accumulated, because of my working at a sex shop. So they've been getting a lot of practice.
No, I love that. I love that. Same for me. I feel like if anything, I've been wanting to buy more toys. So I'm going on to my third. So it might be, not as much as your collection, but I'm getting there. Definitely, when the stimulus hit, I was like, let me buy one. Biden, you're buying all of my sex toys. But let us know how we can follow you, and then any projects or things that you want to pitch so we can get to connect with you.
Well, let me see. I do have a lot of my links are on Linktree. So you can find me there by typing Linktree. What's the address for Linktree? Like linktr.ee/ Lanier Javier, and the way to spell my name is capital L-E capital N-A-I-R capital Xavier. There's a number of my links in there. My links to my main blog, my OnlyFans, my new dude review, and my articles that are on Kiru. That's on there. And speaking of the articles on Kiru, one of those that I'm most proud of that recently got published on there is an erotic short story, because I've always had this because I watch more straight porn than gay porn, and I just kind of wanted to make a fantasy based on that, where I was romantically involved, with the straight porn actor.
Mhm.
So what I kind of made it be that the straight porn actor was like me off camera. I define myself as predominantly bisexual, and so I kind of made him be the same way. But and so the way he gets his straight side out is by doing straight porn. So I was making a tale. Basically, I'm doing a whole bunch of different tales about that kind of what that kind of life might look like if you the husband, which is my character, is the storyteller, is the husband of a male that's in straight porn.
Oh, I definitely have to share that on the link in the description for the episode. I'm going to be sharing your link tree. Support, the OnlyFans if you want. Read some of the articles that Lanier has written. Whoa, like sex educator, published, like a lot of accolades under your belt. I love that.
Well, I'm trying to be very diverse and get into every every different niche that everyone can get the information.
Yes. Well, thank
Articles,
you. Thank
poetry,
you.
video, whatever.
No, I love it. I'm definitely going to be putting all that information down. If you're listening, definitely tune in. I'm going to be putting all the information on Spotify as well. Don't forget, after this show, it's the Patrick Martinez show. Stay tuned for that. As always, thank you so much for all of the guests for tuning in. You could always catch up on 101.5 FM, the website, the app, however you like to listen to the Tu Novio late night adults only show. I'm your host, Carmen, and don't forget to also follow me on Instagram. It's at Carmen PR Girl, Karmen PR Girl. And also, if you have any ideas for a show or a specific guest that you would like for me to interview, you can always DM me or email me at itunovio@gmail.com. And as always, I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you so much, Lanier.
Well, thank you for having me.